It doesn't go one day when I ask myself, are we not getting the signals? Don't we hear it? Don't we see it? We know it, but why don't we do anything? What am I talking about? I'm actually talking about what's happening around us on our planet. A planet that we are emptying of resources, a planet that is getting warmer. My name is Stefan Ranstrand, and together with 2,100 employees in the company Tomra, we are working on a course, a direction which we call Leading the Resource Revolution. It's part of our dream. It's a part of how we want to contribute to a better today and a better tomorrow. I hope I will be able to convey to you the energy, the opportunities, and the way what we are working on here. But let me step back in time. 50 years ago, growing up in Gothenburg, a couple of hours south of here, I was sitting there watching the ocean, seeing this calm, dark blue water merging in the horizon with a light blue sky. Can you feel how endless, how big, how full of hope a small child can feel when you are there? Later, as all kids, I had to go to school. I had to learn, and I learned that the globe is round and it is limited. But for me, as a kid, I still felt peace, hope, endlessness. Today, every day, we read about deforestation, overfishing, polluted skies, global warming. And I can't help asking myself, we read about it, we know about it, why do we do so little? For me, it is almost like knowing that you have a cancer in your body. You know, the first thing when you discover that you're infected with a cancer, you seek treatment. And you get help from a surgeon and an expert team, and they will go in with force and fix it. The planet is undergoing such a dramatic change, and we are coming to such a critical condition that we have to do something, but yet we don't do it. It's very similar to the body. We see that there are ways, and I'm going to try to explain to you what we think we can do to contribute to this. Every year, and I will share some numbers with you, every year, some 70 million people are migrating from poverty into middle-class income. When this happens, they will change their behavior and they will consume much more. And this is a wonderful development. The speed of change in the planet is so rapid. It took UK 200 years from starting of the Industrial Revolution to where it is now. Today, with many emerging economies, with the speed of change is 10 times as fast and 200 times as large. Can you imagine what it does to our resources on the planet? By 2030, we will have 3 billion new middle-class incomers. These people, they have the right and they deserve the same access to resources as we do. We need to share it with each other. In China, last year, 51.7% officially now lives in cities. In the next 15 years, 300 million people will move from the countryside into cities. It is like moving all of the United States into cities in 15 years. What would it lead to? It will lead to that we create 30 megacities like New York, with schools, with hospitals, with workplaces, with our apartments, and a lot of high-rises and a lot of resources required to do that. So how will we cope with this in a world that is already scarce of resources, where we fight to find the resources we need to improve our lives, and we see these big changes happening out there? What is the answer to that? Well, it starts with that we don't have to be afraid. We have to recognize that there is a change, and we have to see that there's an opportunity in that. For me, it is in a way like, when the winds of change are blowing, Some people, they seek a shelter, while other people build a wind farm. You see? There are opportunities, and that's something we have embarked on, and I have embarked on. 3 years ago, I started working for TOMRA. I used to work with a great big company in a global function, and it was just fantastic. But then I was approached by this small, beautiful company here in Norway who had a mindset to change the world, to contribute to a better tomorrow. And that aspired so much to what I want to do. You see, I want to be a leader. I want to take charge of a change. I want to be part of creating a better, together with people, lead them and be an inspiration for ourselves, but for also the people outside. So I joined this company. I came into a company that has been producing reverse vending machines for 40 years. This is the first machine you see out there, which was placed here in Norway. Collecting bottles and cans, making them possible to be recycled, so we can make them to reuse them. Now, we started asking ourselves, we have a great concept, we have a lot of knowledge, we have great technologies. Could we do something more? So we went and started talking to our employees, to our internal experts, and to external stakeholders, and started looking into this opportunity and the challenges. We knew the challenges, but we knew there are opportunities and solutions at hand. What could we do about it? And we started defining a direction. We have heard that today, and I think the most important thing for every corporation is to have a direction. It gives you your identity, it gives you your purpose, it gives you your destiny. And we started working on that. And what we came to is the word leading the resource revolution. So that might sound abstract to you. And Ranstrand, to answer your question, yes, rebels have a direction and an opportunity to change here. The word leading comes back to something simple. As a leader, we are working with people. We lead our children to school on the first school day. We try to give them dreams and inspiration and aspirations for life. The resource revolution is about making the future society development possible. Because without resources, there is no improvement in life. It's as simple as that. And we are consuming these resources with an incredible speed. So why don't we do it differently? So leading the resource revolution is a bold target with high aspirations, and it aspires to what we want to achieve with TOMRA. Let me share some examples with you. Imagine you were to have a gold mine. In the mining industry, and that consumes a lot of energy, the mining industry consumes about 2% of the world energy resources. In 1 ton of gold ore, you find 2 grams of gold. So why do you have to process all these rocks that do not contain gold? Well, the answer, which we have been working on, is to sort out the rocks that do not contain gold, and you only process those rocks that contain the mineral. These technologies are available today, and we are providing them to the mining industry. By that, we reduce the energy consumption with up to 15% and reduce water consumption with 3 to 4 cubic meters per ton of ore. By that, we contribute to a better economy and yet a better environment. Can you see that? Another example is in food industry. 900 million people are actually living on the border of starvation. Whilst, in paradox, 30% of grown food is wasted. We have a solution here where we can sort food so that you can make maximize utilization of it. And in fact, we sort 65% of the world's potatoes and tomatoes today with our technologies. By that, we improve the yield and access to food by up to 5 to 10% by reducing wasted food in the process chain. And I hope that comes to the table of many demanding, poor and people who need food. Another example is in the industry of recycling. Our technologies collect 715,000 tons of metal every year. That's as much as it takes to build 4,035 Boeing 747. And mind you, 1,435 were only built to date. Reverse vending. We use 100 million barrels of oil every year to create 1 trillion bottles and cans that we use for our drinking. We are working on this, and we collect nowadays 30 billion bottles every year, making sure that we need less oil and we can reuse the material. Last but not least, such a simple thing as compaction. When you recycle, you have to bring back the goods to a recycling facility. By compacting it, we can reduce the transport movements. The effect of doing this is that we reduce 45,000 transport movements from roads every day, saving 700 liters of fuel every day. So you see, there are opportunities. And we feel that rebels need to be leaders. And that is maybe what we are lacking the most here. We see the lack of leadership. Despite the fact that we know there are problems, we can feel it. Where are the actions? And we would like to be an inspirer. We know that resources will be key for the future. So optimizing resource productivity will change the future, will enable the future. But we ask ourselves, why is so little done? So I would like to come to a summary of my presentation, what I have been telling you here. We see that the world is undergoing a dramatic change. We see the global warming. We see the scarcity of resources. We see that there are opportunities that we can take better care of resources. Like in the mining industry, where we reduce energy with up to 15%. Like in the food industry, where we sort products and increase the yield. So hopefully that people that are under starvation get more access to food, and we don't reduce 30% of food in the value chain. We reduce that loss. And we see also the opportunity to reuse material. So we want to contribute by optimizing the resource productivity in transforming how we use resources, how we obtain resources, and how we reuse resources. Leading the resource revolution is something we have taken to our heart. That is our vision in this context. Optimal resource productivity is our mission in life. And what would be my message to you participating in this presentation today? Well, if you are a politician, you have been elected to create, you have a responsibility to create a better society. Invest your time and energy in the sustainable solutions that will take better care of scarce resources. Create that environment in your society. If you are a business leader, that means you have taken active decision that you want to lead people. You have a big responsibility for your people, for shareholders, and for the well-being of that company. Invest in what is a future-oriented way. A company needs resources, and there's a space to create green jobs in this. Take that charge. And for all the rest of you, students, employees, and other fellow citizens, please choose your destiny. What do you want to do with your life? How would you like to be seen by others? Do like me and 2,100 employees of Tomra. We have made a choice. And join us in the resource revolution. Thank you.